Well, the big question for Spider-Man fans is who is going to direct Spider-Man 4? And now we have a pretty big update on not only who Marvel is eyeballing to pick up the new film, but more importantly, a whole new trilogy. That's right, a lot of Spider-Man is headed our way. Let's take a couple minutes to break down all the Spider-Man news, talk about where this story comes from, and the familiar names that might be bringing us the new Spider-Man trilogy. Now, before we do that though, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently, so you are in the know. Well, for Marvel Studios, probably one of their most highly anticipated movies is Spider-Man 4. The last 3 Spider-Man movies made a ton of money and were pretty big hits with fans, and definitely established Tom Holland as a household name and the current face of the MCU. Now, it's been pretty apparent Holland would return for more Spider-Man within the Marvel Universe, but there are still a ton of questions up in the air. We know Marvel and Sony have been working on a new script and ironing out all the different approaches that need to be in place to keep the studios happy. And we found out very early on that Jon Watts, who directed the first 3 films, was not expected to return. Now since then, that totally begged the question of who's going to direct the next movie and maybe even the next trilogy, and now it appears we might have a bit of a clue. Now this comes via Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast. And according to him, Marvel and Sony are not only developing a single film, but a whole trilogy with the intention of one director, or in this case, a directing duo, to work on all 3 assignments. Now he does go on to say that it's unclear when shooting will actually begin, but it is supposed to happen this fall, but at this point it's all dependent on Kevin Feige, who apparently is choosing a filmmaker and is fully in charge of the creative process. Now, this is where it gets interesting because Snyder then goes on to make a point that Feige was very impressed with Adil El-Arabi and Bilal Falal's work on Ms. Marvel. Now, if you guys remember correctly, they moved from that show to Batgirl, and that movie was unfortunately scrapped by David Zaslav, but apparently insiders who saw the film said it was some pretty great work. Now, that same directing team has Bad Boys for Life coming out very shortly, so they are definitely rising stars, and after establishing a good relationship with Feige, this does make a lot of sense. I also love the idea that we're planning a trilogy here and setting up a big story. This is something we've heard for quite a while, and I think most trilogies definitely work better when the same directors and directing vision cross over all 3 installments. We've seen how some other franchises can kind of see the wheels fall off the wagon when directors get swapped out. And I think the Russo brothers pretty much proved to Marvel Studios that keeping that consistent tone and vision definitely helps produce a more consistent product, especially over multiple installments. Now, as for the movie, we don't have a lot of details. We do know Tom Holland and Zendaya are expected to return in their roles. We've heard rumors like Sydney Sweeney will be Black Cat, the Scorpion will be part of the film, and even Spider Slayers could somehow show up, all being manipulated by the machinations of the one and only Kingpin. Obviously, when we have more details on Spider-Man 4, we're going to let you know, and hopefully we get some official confirmation on the director sometime soon. I would love to see. I think this team might be a good match, but I really want to see what they do with Bad Boys for Life, and if that lands with a bang, Marvel might be onto the right team, but we're going to have to wait and see.